Yo guys, this is the Cure25 and today we're going to be going over a tips and tricks video for the art of roaming. So roaming is perhaps the most flashy part of Siege. It's what you'll see in most of the Siege videos, and it's something that is not easy to learn, but something that you can get a hold of and you can acquire the skill set for with this practice. And today we're going to be going over some tips to help you elevate your roaming game and help you take you up to the next rank. Okay, so the first tip that we're going to talk about today is wasting time. So, beyond what everyone else thinks, the job of a roamer is not to get kills. So, you see on most videos, the roamer gets 4 or 5 kills, saves the round, aces, and all that stuff. But that's the flashy side of roaming, and that is a good thing. That's something you do want to strive for. But you have to remember that you're here to waste time, and you're here to stop the attackers from getting an easy push to the objective. There's nothing worse, or there's no worse feeling than being an attacker and having to push an objective knowing that the roamer is still alive. And the reason for this is that if there is one or more attackers, they're gonna have to split their guns when pushing into the objective. And what I mean by this is that one person's gonna have to be facing the objective, having to worry about the anchor, and the other person's gonna have to be pointing his gun towards the back and waiting for the roamer to push. And this should be an easy round for the anchor than for the roamers, because you're splitting the attackers in two, whoever's left, and it's something that they really have to worry about, and it's really stressful too. You really have to be coordinated to be able to push an objective with a roamer still around. Okay guys, the next tip we're going to be going over is being patient. And I know this is something that you guys probably see in all tips and tricks videos for roaming, but it's something that I can't emphasize enough. Being patient is something that is not learned per se. It's something that you have to trust yourself with. You'll get it over time the more you play, and you're gonna have to learn when to do it. Sometimes I let 3 to 4 people pass before I decide to push, because that'll be the optimal thing to do. I'd rather come up behind 3 to 4 people than come up, kill one person, and then get killed by the rest of the team. In this clip I show an example of this. At the beginning of the round, I see people pushing into the garage, and I think that I can push out and get an easy kill, and look what happens. I had the shot on somebody, but Thermite was already looking up there, or snaps onto me, and this is really bad because now my team, there's 4 people downstairs that all they can do is anchor right now. So I'm pretty sure I had 4 anchors, so they're gonna get, and the attacker, they're gonna get an easy push into objective, and that's something that the anchor they're gonna have to deal with. So I put my team at a disadvantage by dying early, especially when I'm Cav. Cav is pretty much a selfish operator, but the interrogations can really change the round, and I just completely ruined that for my team. Okay guys, the next tip we're going to go over is using your preparation time efficiently. What I mean by this is that once you're done putting up your walls and putting up your barbed wire, you're going to want to go and open up as many trapdoors as possible, and open up rotation holes that you think you might use later on. The reason for this is that when an attacking team goes in, they know what routes you can take to flank them, and this can really shut you down, especially if they're a coordinated team. So what you want to do is open up trapdoors that they might not expect to be open, and nothing will catch them off guard more than if they're watching certain routes for you to come back and you just come out of nowhere. And opening up, say, 2 trapdoors on one side of the map can really catch them off guard, and this is something that you really want to practice doing beforehand, especially if the drones don't catch it. Then it's going to be really effective. Okay guys, next we're going to go over a tip that a lot of people don't use actually. And one of the tips is that don't be afraid to use a suppressor. I know that a lot of people think the suppressor is useless because it lowers your damage, and it does, to be honest. It does lower it a good amount. But the point is that they won't be able to see your bullet trails, and they won't see the bullet indicator when you hit them. And nothing is more frightening than getting hit by bullets that you don't know where they're coming from, because that's completely terrifying. So say you hit someone, you don't kill them, you'll be able to change routes, get to a different location, try to keep them on their toes at all times, and they're not gonna know where you shot them from, so they don't know where to focus their guns on, And this is really good and it's super underrated. A lot of people don't use it, and if you're really good at controlling recoil especially, then this is probably something you can get away with. Okay guys, the next thing we're gonna talk about is team comp. So a good team composition can actually help a roamer achieve his goal in the long run. And what I mean by good team composition is, for example, Legion and Valkyrie. So Valkyrie will be able to give you information with her cameras. Of course, she'll be able to tell you how many people are there, how many people are attacking, where they're looking, where they're going, and she'll tell you exactly when to push. A Legion can also do the same thing. A legion on one side of the map can tell you exactly where his legions got popped. He can tell you how many he put, how many have been destroyed, and he can pretty much gain some intel. So it might not be as good as Valkyrie, but you know, together they're able to complement each other. And of course, there's a lot of examples of this. There's a lot of things you can experiment with, and you just gotta try it out. You know, see what things help you, and like especially trap operators, they can really help a roamer. And if you're running Cav, the possibilities are endless. How many things you can do with, say, a Frost, or even a Capcan can give you information that might be useful. Okay guys, the next tip I'm going to give you all is to be ready to go back to the objective if needed to. What I mean by this is that most teams run 2 anchors, 2 roamers, and a lurker. But if your anchors die, then you have to be ready to assume their position. Just because you're roaming doesn't mean you're going to be only roaming. Once the anchors die, then the attacker can just push pretty much easy peasy, you know. If the anchors got killed, that means the attackers must be close. So you have to be ready to move back, you know. It's super hard because I know when I play that if my team finds out that they have 1 anchor, or we kill, you know, the usual 2 anchors, then we rush the objective. And it's extremely hard for the roamers to get back inside because they don't have the utility that the attackers have. Okay guys, the next tip I'm going to give y'all is probably the most important because it's not something that you can necessarily learn. It's something that comes with experience of being a roamer. And that is learning to go for plays. Like this for example, I hear 2 people outside, I jump out, I get 2 kills, and I'm already back in the window. And I trusted my aim with this, I trusted my gut instinct, and it's a mentality that you kind of have to learn to have after a while. Yes, your job is to waste time, but that doesn't mean you should play timid. As a roamer, you are the hunter, and you are trying to stop the attackers from getting to the objective. That's your main goal. So this is something that you kind of start to gather, you know. After a while of playing, you'll kind of learn when to pounce, when not to pounce. And sometimes you go for the big jump, and it'll work out sometimes it won't, and that's okay. You know, you have to learn that it's not about KD, it's about win, and you gotta put your team above everything else. So yeah guys, those are my tips for roaming. I hope y'all found it useful. I plan on doing a video on lurking, anchoring, and rushing if y'all are into that. Be sure to follow me, like, sub, and comment below what you want to see. If y'all want to see an operator special, or if y'all want to see me cover another topic, then make sure you write it below, and I'll try to get to everyone's comment as soon as possible. So yeah guys, until next time, I hope y'all enjoyed the content, and y'all have a good one.